All right, so it's 3 a.m. I just finished watching Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Um, so I don't think it's been a secret that the last few Marvel movies haven't done anything for me. Uh, Thor, Love and Thunder, especially, I thought was just so bad, and this kind of whole phase of Marvel movies have all kind of shown the fatigue that people are starting to have for these movies, and the glaring you know the glaring issues in the formula. Um, this movie, Guardians 3, was in doubt for a long time with James Gunn as the helm. Because he was fired from the movie at one point for like some fucking tweets that like were some edgelord shit from like 2007, which, yeah, don't joke about pedophilia, but also like the cancel culture bullshit is so fucking stupid. You have these people, especially when all this was going down, people on the right were like, oh my god, I can't believe it. They were hemming and hawing and fucking grasping their pearls, while then going off on the other hand and being like, oh, cancel culture and blah blah. It's like, you can't fucking have your cake and eat it too. Sorry. So the cast basically said that they weren't going to do it without him, so they brought him back. This is his last project, obviously, with Marvel because he's gone off to Warner Brothers and DC. Um, Visually, this is his most impressive Guardians movie. There are some great camera moves. Obviously, it's all digital, but there is some great camera work in this one, and some fight scenes that are choreographed, and you can tell what's going on, and aren't just like big. There's, I mean, fucking CGI is big fucking CGI monsters and shit, but like they feel like some more thought was put into them. You don't see the ones and the zeros as much. I was expecting this movie to pull a bit more at my heartstrings than it did. Um, the negative. Let's do the negatives before the positives. The negatives are it repeats a lot of the same beats from the other two movies. One, like, straight up, actually two scenes especially are just straight up greatest hits from the first and the second movie. The one being the escape from the prison in the kiln in the first movie, where they affect the gravity and all that kind of stuff. And then the second being the scene where Yandu in the second one uses the arrow to take out all the guys in the prison too. Those scenes are right in there. You get, I kind of said this about the Kids vs. Aliens movie I watched in that review, that the director was kind of just doing the greatest hits, and this felt a lot like that. But with that, and it was a little heavy-handed with some of its messaging. But with that being said, I think this is my favorite of this phase of Marvel movies. I guess, well, does this phase include Spider-Man No Way Home? Because that's my favorite one. This movie show is basically James Gunn's version of We Three, which is my second favorite graphic novel of all time after Dark Knight Returns, and then third being Alan Moore's Swamp Thing, Garden of Earthly Delight story. The story is basically about the making and unmaking of Rocket, and it's very sad, but not in the way that, like, the opening of the first movie, like, breaks your heart. The ending of the second movie very much is very sad when they're playing the Cat Stevens song and all that kind of stuff. That actually, like, made me feel emotional. This one, its elements are pulling at your heartstrings, but it doesn't ever quite get there. But with that said, it's sad and it's traumatizing what they do with these animals, but again, it reminds me of We Three. For anyone who hasn't read that one, it's Paul Verhoeven's a Paul Verhoeven movie by way of Homeward Bound. This has a lot of that as well. Nathan Fillion's really good in it, in his scenes. Everyone works very well off of each other. They're very much lived in these characters, and of a lot of the Marvel movies, the quips are take you out of the movie. I had a problem with the dance off bro part from the first one, but I get it. People like that. This one only had a couple times where I was just like, I wouldn't have thrown that line in there because it reduces the tension. And we're in the third movie now where we should be able to say like we don't need our hand held when it comes to the emotional stuff. We're emotionally enough, mature enough to handle these things. You're dealing with Gamora being alive out there, but it's not his Gamora, and his feelings towards this person that he loves that's still there, but she's not the same person anymore, and that is hard. That's hard because I deal with that. Um, the Bradley Cooper steals the show as Rocket, even though he's not present for big portions of it. His whole backstory is very strong. The villain, the High Evolutionary, is also pretty fucking terrifying. And it's one thing that we haven't had in a Marvel villain in a while because they totally wasted Christian Bale as Gore the God Killer. And that sucks because, again, that movie was fucking terrible. But they wasted a really good character and a really good actor. In this one, they did something different. Which I actually enjoyed. And then I don't know. I liked Drax's arc. I liked Mantis. Had a really, because she's such a nothing character, really. Like in the second one and in the two Avenger movies, like she has her place, but she's never like a strong character. And in this one, she's very good. That actress is fantastic in this. You get your Stallone cameo. There are some very interesting worlds in this movie too, including this cool organic spaceport thing that almost the entire thing almost looks like Mobius's artwork, including down to them wearing the spacesuits that are like the multicolored spacesuits that are in the primary comic book colors, which I think is really neat. There's a lot of imagery too that's taken right out of 2001, Stanley Kubrick's 2001. There's some fun voice cameos in there. Interesting looking effects. Like that's the thing, is it doesn't look like standard Marvel stuff. It looks like thought went into it. It feels more like cosmic Marvel stuff. Adam Warlock is interesting. It's not the Adam Warlock that I would have done, but they play him far more like a child. He's comic relief, but he's such a strong character, and I wish he was around for the Infinity Gauntlet storyline because he's so crucial to that. I don't know. I'm still kind of digesting it. There's actually another scene that rips off is when Nowhere, where they are, is getting attacked. It's very much like the ending of the first movie. The Nova Corps never fucking show up again. I kind of wish we would have seen more of them. Soundtrack's very good too. It starts with Creep by Radiohead, and the end credits are with Badlands by Bruce Springsteen, which is awesome. Also, one of my favorite female vocalists is from Florence and the Machine, and one of her songs plays at the end too, which I thought was great. I found myself, mouthing the words around the people who I was sitting with. But I would say that this is the weakest of the three. It does also it shows a lot of the holes that are in the Marvel system right now, but you can tell that James Gunn had a little bit more free reign to make it feel more his own than just another point and click standard Marvel thing. Ant-Man, that actor who's playing Kang, I don't know if he's going to be Kang anymore, but it just seemed like an Ant-Man movie was not the place for that character to start. So you kind of have this weird tone because Ant-Man is such a character that's not really equipped to deal with big fucking Avengers shit by himself. And it felt like it wanted to be a Star Wars movie a little bit more, which brings me to my other point, that big chunks of this movie reminded me of the Book of Boba Fett. All of the stuff while Rocket is recouping with all the flashbacks reminded me of the Book of Boba Fett. the big monster that eats the batteries in the beginning of the second movie show up again, and they have a scene very much like when they ride the Rancor into the old West town. They save all these kids who look like they're out of a Sia music video. When you see it, you'll understand what I'm talking about. They all look like that little girl from the Chandelier video and stuff like that. Um, I don't know. It is more dramatic. It does have some, like I said, some great action, cool looking worlds and effects and creatures. The idea of the high evolutionary and the world that he creates and what it means. All of these ideas of, I don't know. It's there's headier stuff going on in here than you would see in some of these other movies. But again, it just gets kind of weighed down and stuffed down by like you got to do the Marvel thing, you know. Yeah, I don't know. I liked it. I liked it, but it's definitely the weakest of the three. It definitely I don't know. I need to see more like heart in these movies, and this one had heart. You know, and but like I want to see less of the corporate shill in Marvel movies and give me a little bit something more. Because I felt like the shows have been really good at telling like you know adult stories that kids can still get into and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. This isn't a good review. I'm still kind of figuring out what I thought of it because I expected certain things to happen that didn't happen, which I'm fine with. It has a really, really, really funny two after credit scenes. It goes in a new direction where they can go with these movies. I'm glad that James Gunn got a chance to come back. His wife is in it, obviously. Uh, some interesting, like I said, the Mobius stuff I thought was really neat. And I didn't expect that from a movie where so many of these alien worlds are so homogenized. Everybody did a good job. I don't see any faults with the actors, with their performances, with the story arc or anything like that. It just felt like something was missing. Something didn't quite click for me. But with that said, outside of Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, only because Sam Raimi. I mean, for the most part, I wasn't crazy about that movie, but I defend Sam Raimi to the end. This one felt the most like a director had control over the beast from the mouse, you know? I'm bummed to see that we're not going to get this group together again because I thought that James Gunn and the casting department, the casting and the costume, they finally wear their comic book accurate costumes in the movie, and the characters from the original, the first group of the Guardians, and then the '90s when they were actually popular, show up again like they did at the end of Part 2 as the Ravengers. Yeah, I guess I just need to ruminate on it a little bit more and maybe see it again, because it does. I was very intrigued by the High Evolutionary and Rocket's whole arc and his friends as well, and that's what reminded me of We Three so much. And again, you had the Book of Boba Fett stuff, and then the Sia stuff, and all that. It didn't feel the need to. It didn't feel the need to bait future stories or the next phase or anything like that. It told a fairly self-contained story while also going in and filling in the gaps for anybody who maybe just like the Guardians movies and didn't see Endgame or Infinity War or anything like that. So it didn't feel the need to like stop dead like the first AntMan movie and go, remember Falcon? He's here too, Yeah, I was waiting for like something like, the coming of Galactus or the Silver Surfer or something like that to happen, which would have been fucking cool. But I was just like, no, just like let's let these characters have their take the bow, and I like that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm rambling now for 15 minutes because I'm very tired. I say that almost every video. I'm tired because we watch these things so fucking late. But yeah, like I said, it's the weakest of the three, but not by a ton. Um, and I thought this was a stronger villain and a visually stronger film than Marvel's allowed filmmakers to do in a while. So I'm happy about that. I'm glad James Gunn got to, go out on his own terms. And if, if he gives us a We Three movie at Warner Brothers, fuck yeah, dude. And if you continue to give strong visual films like this movie, again, the whole Mobius world was just so neat and different. Even like, and the one hallway fight scene, yeah, we've seen it before in the first movie when they have the whole thing. Again, that's another scene that kind of repeats. But I definitely like this one more than some of the recent movies. Like I wanted to love Wakanda Forever because of Namor is one of my favorite Marvel characters, and it just felt so overstuffed with all this different shit. Like, why was Elaine and Bilbo in this, and why was Ironheart in this? Just take them out. It doesn't fucking affect the story in any way, shape, or form. Um, and then Love and Thunder. To completely, truncate the villain and to make light of these terrible things. Like, it made Thor look like an asshole. And then the terrible fucking CGI as well, that floating head of the kid. Thankfully, there's none of that in this. This one actually, like, it's rendered well. And how far they've come with the look of these CGI characters, especially like Rocket and then his friends, the otter, the walrus, and the spider rabbit. Teef, Lily, and Floor are their names, and it's sad. It's as an animal lover myself, a lot of that stuff was fucking sad, and to see when you'll see it. Well, I don't want to spoil shit, but yeah, that's it, guys. Let me know what you thought of the movie when you get a chance to see it. Punch holes in it and make fun of it and stuff like that. But certain things really really worked for me. Certain things didn't, but that's it. It was stronger than some of the last few Marvel movies, and I guess we're at a point now where it's like that's good enough. Good night.